The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Guy Harvey Clothing by AFTCO. Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin. The best lures, period. Blue Water Outriggers. Everything for your outdoor adventures. Croquis, made in the USA. Drummond Community Bank. Costa. See what's out there. And Lumber Rock.
Introducing Helmmaster, Yamaha's first fully integrated digital boat control system. With Helmmaster, you can start your outboards with a swipe of a fob and control them with a single lever. Outboard trim and steering friction adjust automatically as you accelerate and decelerate. Adjust engine speed with the touch of a button. The Helmmaster joystick provides the means to navigate and dock precisely with confidence and ease. Take control of your next vessel with Helmmaster at your command.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America. Always thinking of ways to give you more while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
What is CCA? CCA has been representing recreational fishermen for over 25 years, and when your rights to fish are threatened, the CCA is there to make sure government regulators are making sound decisions. I'm a life member of CCA, and when fishery decisions are being made, the CCA in the room is fighting for our recreational rights. We need to give our kids the same opportunities to fish as we did. Do what I did. Go to ccaflorida.org and join for only $25 so you can protect your recreational angling rights.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
Don't forget the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report wants to see your photos. Head to our Facebook page and upload your best shots for your chance to be featured here on the show. And if you would like to be part of our audience, you can register there as well. This week, Bob Stokey is back with another great recipe for us to try out, and this one involves our species of the week. That's cool. Yeah, okay. Let's see what he can do with Amberjack.
All right.
Hey guys, welcome back to Marker 88. I'm out of Florida Keys. Today we're going to be smoking fish, all right? Any kind of fish will work for smoking fish, but the fish I like the best it's amberjack today, so we're going to be doing amberjack. But wahoo, mackerel, kingfish, any of those kind of fish, the oilier the better as far as I'm concerned. So what I've done here is I have a piece of amberjack and I've brined this overnight. Brining's pretty simple, just some salt water, whatever herbs, spices you want to do, that's what you do. About anywhere from 8 to 24 hours, right? All I'm going to do now is add a little bit of Italian dressing to my amberjack, right? The reason why I'm doing this and putting the Italian dressing on here is just so that it doesn't really stick to the pan too much, right? So there we go. Put it on both sides. Always leave the skin on when you're smoking fish, guys. Always leave the skin on, right? Here it goes, right into the pan. Now, what kind of pan can you use? You can use any kind of pan. The broiling pan from your oven, if you don't use it too often, works great. However, understand this right now, whatever pan you use, that is gonna be your smoking pan for life, all right? Don't use your wife's good pans because you're gonna pay for it. All right, so we've got our fish in here, right? Underneath here, I'm just gonna put some hickory wood chips. These are just regular wood chips I got from the store. No big deal, all right? You guys are gonna love this. You don't need a smoker. We're gonna make our own smoker, all right? Add some foil to it, cover it up nice and good, all right? The better we cover it up, the better the smoke stays in there, the better this is gonna be. All we're gonna do now is take this fish, put it onto a nice red hot barbecue grill, right? As hot as it can go. Put it right there in the center, right? You're gonna cook it for about 15 to 20 minutes. Once the smoke stops, the fish should be done. We wanna make sure we get the fish cooked all the way through about 145 degrees. As soon as it's done, we're gonna take it out. We're gonna go ahead and put it in the refrigerator right away, and you're gonna end up with beautiful smoked fish, just like that.
Wow, that was good stuff, man. And I like the fact that if you use something that's mama's, that's good. And guess what? You're going to pay for it later. That's true throughout the whole deal.
That's right. Old Bob's a smart man, keeping the hubs out of trouble.
That's all right.
That's right. All right, it's time to head south, guys. Captain Randy Tao from the La Jolla region in the Florida Keys is out tonight, so Captain Mark Johnson is going to fill in. And Mark, the Amberjack is a pretty popular fellow in that area, right?
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Captain Mark Johnson filling in for Randy Tao. Hello to you, Rick, and you, my dear. Life is good here in the Florida Keys, and yes, you know what? The Amberjack is a great fish to catch in the spring down here, and we target them usually from late February, March, April, into the first half of May, and we catch them out on the ocean side. Down here this far south, we catch them on a couple popular spots known as the humps. We have the Alamorada hump, the 409 hump, and the West hump, and a couple different techniques of catching them. A lot of guys still fish traditional with some live bait, and with live bait choices, your live grunt's your best fish. Sometimes blue runners, maybe some pinfish, cigar minnows, but you want that live, frisky bait, and you need a bait of decent size to get down to the bottom on top of the humps. When I say humps, you're talking a water depth of anywhere from about 275 to maybe 400 feet. And depending on where you mark the fish on your machine, you're trying to fish in the current and get that bait down in the schools while you're drifting across the top.
Hey, Mark, you know, speaking of deep water, how about the grouper? Are they catching any offshore?
You know what? The grouper bite has been really hot this spring, and they're catching them right along on the reef. And, you know, we have three types of grouper everybody likes, the red, the gag, and the black. But the gag and the black probably inch out the red grouper on the table fare. And they also are known to get much larger. I mean, you can catch a black upwards of 40 or 50 pounds. And I believe you got a really nice photo of a 50-pounder caught with Captain Randy.
Yeah, that's a great fish, a nice big black grouper that Michael Stinger caught. All right, Mark, let's talk about inshore. What you got for redfish? Any good reports?
You know the red fishing's been hot. I was over in West Flamingo yesterday, and we caught reds of all sizes on both live bait using live shrimp as well as live pinfish. And we also were catching them on artificials on a variety of some soft plastics, and that mixed in with some really nice snooks, so that was nice to see too. But the red fishing now has changed so dramatically in the last few years. You don't only have to sight fish them on the flat, but you can fish them around all the moats and all your mangrove spots, and anywhere you would look for a mangrove snapper is now starting to show signs of redfish in the bushes. So you can target that fish 3 or 4 different ways.
All right, what else you got for us inshore? How about some sharks?
You know what? That's my man right there. I love catching the sharks. You know, when you're snook fishing and red fishing in the backcountry this time of year, and tarpon as well, you know firsthand there is no shortage of some quality bull sharks on the West Coast. And in the last 3 weeks, we've been catching them all shapes and sizes, predominantly bull sharks when you're out there in schools of the game fish. And then when you're inshore Flamingo, we're catching plenty of blacktip/spinner sharks as well as lemons. And the lemon shark population is still pretty strong, and so is the black tips and spinners. And mind you, with these fish, you can catch these fish upwards of 6, 7, even 8 feet long.
All right, thanks for filling in for Randy. We'll talk to you again sometime soon. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Florida Keys region. Inshore, sharks use ladyfish for bait or chum the sharks. Stake up in 3 to 6 feet of water where you have good current. Fish the baits on the bottom and use a 4-foot piece of number 6 wire and throw the orange fly if they come up to the surface. And then offshore, grouper, look for those rocky parts on the reef from 50 to 70 feet of water. Live pinfish with an 8-foot piece of 80-pound leader and a 7.0 VMC circle hook to stop those big groupers, Lauren.
Okay, Rick, now what do you say? It's time to check in and see what tournaments are going on in the Keys.
Okay, Andy, I'm sure standing by.
Okay, first up, the Islamorada Dolphin Tournament, July 12th through the 14th. Some $15,000 in cash and prizes is up for grabs at the tournament scheduled for this Friday through Sunday. The event is hosted by the Islamorada Charter Boat Association. The Del Brown Permit Tournament is July 14th through the 17th in Key West. The late Del Brown caught and released more than 500 permit on fly before he died, and the tournament was established to honor that incredible angling achievement. Staged during the Key West annual Hemingway's Days Festival, the Drambuie Key West Marlin Tournament is set for July 17th to the 20th. The competition guarantees a $50,000 cash prize purse with $25,000 awarded to the first place team. And at the Robert James Slam Celebrity Tournament set for September 7th to the 9th, anglers target tarpon, permit, and bonefish to achieve the coveted Flats Grand Slam. The first of 3 events in the annual Red Bone Series in the Keys raises funds for the fight against cystic fibrosis. All right, lots of good stuff going on, Rick.
The Keys always is a happening place,
Sure.
just like the Northwest region. So let's get our report
that's
from there.
right. The Yeti Northwest region is where we find Captain Jeff Hageman. Jeff, you do well with the Amberjack in the Northwest, it sounds like.
We do. It's always happening up here. We got plenty of Amberjack. They're numerous in my region. You can find them usually anywhere from 60 feet of water and out. Right now, as the water temperature is getting warmer, you want to look for them over wrecks, rock piles, any kind of high relief structure. But another thing we got up here that a lot of places don't have is we have a lot of springs. And when it gets hot, these fish will get over these springs and congregate in them. It's got that nice 72-degree water coming out of it. It's fresh, and it mixes with the salt. If they get over it, the bait gets there, they'll get really hung up on this because of that cooler water. But our fish average anywhere from 35 to 45 pounds. We can catch them up to 70. You get out a little deeper, you find them usually a little bit bigger. Pinfish work great. Pigfish, which is a grunt, they really like them. Another thing you can do is take a lot of live bait out with you, either thread fins or sardines, and you can actually chum these guys up and bring them right up to the top of the water. I don't care how deep it is. You can bring them up, get them behind the back of the boat, and break out the top water, throw poppers at them, skitter walks, all that stuff. They're really a great fish to get on top water. They make some aggressive strikes. Another thing I found to get them enticed when they're not biting real well, because they can get picky after a while, a 1-ounce hookup jig with a 10-inch eel. Fire that out there on a spinning rod, let it sink down 50, 60 feet, and then rip it back as fast as you can. Give it a little pause every now and then. Usually on that pause is when they'll pick it up. But that'll get some of those picky ones to bite for you.
Hey, those are some cool techniques for catching those picky AJs. It doesn't often happen down in South Florida, but tell us what else is happening offshore there, Jeff.
Captain Jason Lineberger of Ruthless Fishing Charters reports a really good red grouper and scamp bite right now. He's fishing anywhere from 65 to 75 feet of water off St. Pete over flat rock and Swiss cheese bottom. Live pinfish, cut sardines, squids, all been working good. The lighter leader's been working a little better to catch the scamp. 60-pound Suffolk fluorocarbon leader, 6-aught BMC circle hook on a standard bottom rig has been working really well for that. And some good-sized scamp out there, too, right now. We got some fish up to 28 inches, which is a big scamp. So we got some good scamp and some good grouper fishing. But inshore, scallop season is going great right now with the top 2/3 of my region. It's in full swing. You want to target Gomez Rock off of Crystal River. That's one of Captain Mario Costello's favorite spots. Right now, he's saying most of the scallops are being caught a little deeper in 4 to 6 feet of water over the turtle grass. I got another report today of a guy that was just up there the other day, and most of the time you're finding these over grass. A buddy of mine was up. He wasn't doing too good over the grass. He started looking over some sandy patches, and every time he hit a sandy patch, he found, 6 or 7 of them. Every time he went down, dove with a snorkel, he picked up 6 or 7 of them in the sand. So make sure you look at the broken bottom and the sandy bottom in there too. They might just moved off of it a little bit and might not be in the grass. So check out those sandy spots while you're out there too.
I got a question for you before we go to the next inshore species. When you're talking about scallops, how many are you allowed to possess? What's the legal limit? Do you know, Jeff?
It's a gallon thing, and you can either have them whole or you can have them clean, because some people go out there and clean them in their boat. You want to check your regs, but I believe it's 2 gallons per person.
2 gallons
Or
per
10
person
gallons
clean?
per
No,
vessel.
you got it wrong.
No,
It's 5
no.
gallons. It's 5 gallons per boat, or what you can have is a gallon per person cleaned on the boat.
It's 2.5 uncleaned, I believe, gallons. It's unclean.
Well, we got a debate going, so we'll continue that
Agree to
next week.
disagree.
So tell me what's going on a little further north in the Northwest region.
The gallon thing, it's pints when you're talking about clean and gallons when you're talking about unclean, but you're right on the actual legal limits. Captain Jordan Todd in the very north part of my region reports the tarpon have showed up in the passes right now. West Pass and Indian Pass is what you want to concentrate on. He said you want to look for the pogie schools and the herring schools. Right now they're moving through with the tides. So once you find the herring and the pogie, set up on them, look for fish rolling. He's been free-lining either a live mullet or pogie or a threadfin behind the back of the boat. He says there's been a lot of sharks up there too, so if you start picking up a lot of sharks, he's been putting a crab out and not getting as many shark bites and catfish bites. Fish right now are averaging everywhere from 70 to 140 pounds. He's using 50-pound braid, 50 to 60-pound fluorocarbon leader, and a 5/0 circle hook.
All right, good report from the Northwest region. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Drummond Community Bank hotspots from the Northwest region. Captain Jeff says inshore, snook in the passes and on the beaches using pinfish and sardines for bait. And then offshore, mangrove snapper, 30 to 70 feet of water over the rock piles, and shrimps and sardines you're going to want to use on a knocker rig. Let me tell you something that's really cool about this time of year. You see how you talked about the passes and the beaches? Yeah. What you can do, Lauren, is you can actually walk down the beaches and physically sight cast the snook that are this far off of where the water breaks. Really cool time of year. It's the only time they do it. It's a lot of the young male fish coming up there looking for the females, setting up that spawning activity.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, when we return, we're going to see what's cool with Ron Houston in the Southwest, and Dave is going to show us what's new from the Jägermeister workbench.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by CCA, the voice of recreational anglers for over 25 years. The Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. Hookup Lures, premium lures for serious anglers. La Jolla Resort, a place for family and fishermen. And Maverick Boat Company, makers of premium brand boats. Maverick, Hughes, Pathfinder, and Cobia.
Hi, I'm Ariana.
I'm Natalie of the Miami Dolphins cheerleaders for Bennett Auto Supply.
When it comes to spark plugs, look to NGK, the world leader in spark plug technology. NGK makes spark plugs for virtually every automobile, motorcycle, marine, and small engine application.
With NGK spark plugs, you get improved performance and increased fuel economy. So just ask your local technician for NGK spark plugs, the leader in spark plug technology, available at Bennett Auto Supply.
Best parts,
best prices, Bennett Auto Supply.
He's a 20 years straight, get to work on time. He's loved one woman for all his life. Everybody knows he ain't just tough, he's strong.
The all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Well, Dave, we're here at the Jägermeister Workbench, and we're talking about new toys, and you have lots of them.
I do, but before we get into the new toys, we're talking about Amberjack, and one of the things that I want to make sure that if you're going to be chasing Amberjack, and actually you should have one of these on your boat at all times anyway, is having a nice shoulder harness. Because when you're hooked up to a decent sized fish, this was one made by AFTCO.
Right.
Every boat should have a good shoulder harness on it in case you get hooked up with one of these big old Amberjacks or some big old fish. Because when you have one of these on and you're hooked up to your rod and reel with it clipped in, it's 10 times easier on the angler. So just make sure that if you guys are going out chasing some big fishes, bring one of these. And bring one of these even if you're not chasing big fishes, because you might hook one. So, all right. Nice shoulder harness. Get one of those. Okay. All right. First off, we got this cool little kit from Passport. Flying Fisherman made this rod and reel kit called the Passport Rod and Reel Kit, and they make 3 different kinds of them. These are for traveling rods. They're professional grade rod and reels that are broken down. When I was a little kid, Daiwa used to make a little traveling kit that I wanted more than anything in the world. It was like $60 or something when I was 12 years old, and I wanted it so bad I couldn't stand it. It was a spinning reel kit in a little case. Well, this is, upping it a little bit. This is a pro style 3-piece spinning reel on one side.
Spinning rod.
Spinning rod on one side and a fly fishing rod on the other, a 4-piece. And he makes them in three different sizes: a light, a medium, a heavy. 9-foot 6 weight is the light, a 9-foot 8 weight is the medium, and a 9-foot 10 weight is the large. And the spinning reels go from 6 pound to 20 pound.
So one of the things that I see as a really cool advantage to this, Dave, is let's say that you go someplace, you come to the Florida Keys and it's blowing to beat the band. It's really, and maybe you're not a real good fly fisherman.
Like most of us.
Yeah, so now what you can do is you can leave that fly rod and not get frustrated. You can pick up your spinning rod and now have a rod that you're ready to go with all the time. Or maybe even some remote location in the Caribbean.
It's always good to have something like this in your car. Yeah. Because I've seen many places where I've been driving. I say, oh, I got to stop and fish there, and this would be the perfect kind of thing to have in the back seat of your car, because I might walk by and see it in there too.
So, so Passport's making this.
Passport, flyingfisherman.com, or Randy Tao even. If you go to CaptainRandyTao.com, I'm sure he can show you how to get them too.
Yeah, Randy helped them to develop all this.
A fellow named Randy Tao and Juan Gazio were the ones who developed this, so they're guys who know what they were doing.
Absolutely.
These are, I missed the Marlin show last week. I had to be gone. But these are Who Hookers, Moldcraft Who Hooker heads, and these are designed for guys who are trolling ballyhoos. We always used to buy these little hooker heads, and we'd clip the skirts off. Well, Moldcraft got wind of it and started making the little mini hooker heads to go on a ballyhoo, and they opened up the back real wide, and it's got a great big back opening on it, that you can fit the front of a ballyhoo in there. And it's got a real hard edge on the front. There used to be a little softer edge on the hooker heads.
Right.
This puts out a little bit more smoke, supposedly, because it's got that sharper edge. And these protect your ballyhoo. They go down on top of your ballyhoo. You can troll your ballyhoo a lot longer. Plus, it adds a little extra smoke. If you're pitching a ballyhoo, you put a ballyhoo out there when it's on the pitch, and this thing adds some color, and also so the angler can see it, and also adds a little smoke so that the fish can find it in all the crap back there.
All right. We got some more rods.
Well, these are the Bull Bay rods. These fellas came into my office the other day. There's a Florida company, and these guys make all kinds of good stuff. These are some of their inshore they come with this new thing called a Sensi grip, and it's this big thing right up here on the front. Evidently, this material transmits vibrations real readily. So anything that taps on this rod comes right through this. And if you got your fingers on this Sensi grip, you're going to feel it. And they got really nice guides on these, a matte finish. These are composed of a fiberglass and graphite hybrid. So they're virtually almost indestructible. But
I'm really looking forward to these.
Yeah, you can't have them. Yeah? You also got the great big one over there. We're talking about Amberjack rods. This is a big giant spinning reel.
Wow.
This would be perfect for
grip on that.
Yeah, it'd be perfect for big tarpons, big Amberjacks. Alligators, evidently the gator boys.
Guys, I really appreciate those guys sending me these new rods.
You're not getting those, man.
You watch. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have a little Lauren over there help me carry that stuff to the car.
Well, also down there talking about rods, Ugly Stick Shakespeare made their first ugly stick in 1976 when I was 12 years old, and I proceeded to use ugly sticks because if you broke them, it doesn't matter how you broke them, if you brought them back, they would give you a new one. So I, in my infinite wisdom, started using them to snag mullet with, ugly sticks.
This is why they call them ugly sticks.
They're indestructible. You can't break them. So what I would do is I'd go snag mullet with them. Oh, I knew you were going to do that. But you snag those mullet with those things, and I hit pilings with them and the bridge abutments, and they break all to pieces because I was really abusing them, and they give you a brand new one. And ugly sticks the same way. That's the new generation 2. It's solid fiberglass with the clear tip. I mean, you just showed why it's made like that.
So what is this?
These are the ready rigs. These are like little instant downriggers. If you're wanting to slow troll some really light stuff, or just to get your lure down a little bit, what you do is it's called a ready rig instant downrigger, and what you do is you run your line through here, your main line goes through here, and then you pull these apart. There's a little spring on here, and you just put a loop of,
Let's turn it this way so we can see.
Yeah, you open it up, and you put as much line as you want out, to your lure, and you make a little loop, and you put it in that rubber thing, and your line goes through here. And when you're trolling, this will get it down about 10 or 15 feet, and you're trolling whatever you're trolling, a little live bait, whatever. And as soon as you get a bite, it pops off. The pump comes off of here, and it slides right down. So you're not dropping weight. A lot of places you can't drop weight anymore in the country, and so it's a good little thing to get your stuff down.
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Speaking of getting down, Lauren.
Is it Lauren's turn to get down?
It's Lauren's turn to get down.
All right.
Sure, no, I was going to say, nice shot, Rick, but orange is not my color. All right. Let's send it over to Captain Ron Houston. What can you share with us about Amberjack, Ronnie?
Well, basically, fishing Amberjack in the region, you want to concentrate on fishing structure. Always concentrate on the structure, whether it's wrecks, reef, or ledges. That's what we want to try to target these fish on. Over in my coast, the best time to target the Amberjacks can be October through May. Now, once the fish are located, you can actually, for a good time, jump pilchards and thread fins over the top of the area to draw them up. But live pinfish grunts and blue runners drop down will work most of the time. Now, understand, chances are, be ready for the bite. You don't have to drop all the way to the bottom. Amberjack will generally try to hit you up off the structure, halfway down or 3/4 down off the bottom. So be ready to feel that hit as you're dropping down. Once you find the Amberjacks, like I said, it's relatively easy to catch these fish. A variety of artificials such as bucktails and butterfly jigs will also work. Now, to look for these Amberjacks, I said target structure, but the key areas to start with can be as close as 20 miles out and beyond. The heavy tackle is recommended to get these fish up off the bottom, but medium to heavy spin can be used for the fun of it. But I'll guarantee you one thing. You put that medium to heavy spin down and put on some heavier tackle to catch these fish. Chances are, follow the directions I tell you, start about 20 miles out and beyond, concentrate on the structure, and you shouldn't have a problem finding the Amberjacks. Also, on the offshore side, on the southwest coast of Florida, the red and gag grouper fishing has been great. It's gotten better over the last couple of years, but as of right now, you don't have to go far to find them. You want to concentrate on fishing for both of these species anywhere as close as 5 miles and up to 15 miles out. Now, for the gags, you want to concentrate on fishing wrecks and ledges using live pinfish, grunts, a variety of bucktails with squid, butterfly jigs, and if you're in shallow enough water, anywhere from 20 to 30 feet, large lip plugs. But for the reds, you want to concentrate on live pinfish and cut sardines, squid and herring along ledges and hard bottom. Now, you can drift to find these fish. It's highly recommended, but once you locate these fish, anchor up and make sure you mark that spot. If you have figured out a pattern, once you mark the spot and you're catching keeper-sized fish, generally send some of those keeper-sized fish back to the bottom. Bigger fish generally congregate bigger fish. That way, over time, you can go back to these spots. They can be productive for you for the future. But right now, it doesn't take much to get out for the reds and gags. Now, on the inshore spot, we've had a lot of rain over the last couple weeks, and we just keep getting more and more. The tarpon, you can concentrate right now anywhere closer to the inshore from Buttonwood Bay to Barron River, fishing feeder creeks with freshwater runoff. Concentrate on these tides, last half of the outgoing and the first half of the incoming, especially if you got a lot of wind and you can't get in the outer Gulf. Now, in the outer Gulf, you want to concentrate anywhere from Indian Key to Mormon Key, fishing outer Gulf passes on the same tide. In both areas, you want to look for these fish to be rolling and free jumping. And if you've got a wind behind you, drift towards these fish. Try not to make a lot of noise and stay off the trolling motor. Baits of choice for the middle blaze include topwater plugs, chugging lures, and 5-inch soft plastics and glow. chartreuse, orange, black and gold, or pink will do to the tannic water. Now, in the outer Gulf, it is tannic in the areas I'm talking, but concentrate on using large red and white lip plugs or darting lures. Live mullet and ladyfish will work. Feeder Creek fish right now are about 15 to 40 pounds, and the outer Gulf fish are averaging anywhere from 80 to 120 pounds. Now, with the rains, the snook bite's been good. As long as we've got the moderate weather to fish anywhere from Sanibel to Stump Pass, fishing beaches and passes on the late afternoon incoming. In the passes at the top of the high or along the beaches, rock piles and blowdowns. Live pinfish, pilchards, and threadfins on the outer Gulf. Also, white bucktails and paddletails. Walking along the beaches, if you don't have a boat, a variety of 3 to 4 inch lip plugs in white, chartreuse, clown, or olive if the water's stained. Typical size right now for these fish, all through the region, are 22 to 40 inches.
Man, Ronnie, that was a great report. I do have a question for you if you're still there. The question is that when you're walking those beaches, Ronnie, is there one thing that you're going to pick up, out of your tackle box over another? What's your first choice for the Midnight Rider?
Well, walking the beaches right now, these fish are going to be drilled tight to the beach in the higher stages of the tide. I recommend something in white or chartreuse. I'd go with a 4-inch paddle tail with an 1/8 ounce jig head, bringing it along the edge of the beach. Don't stop it, don't jig it. Let that paddle move and that vibration make the fish go for a reaction bite. Second chance, a white chartreuse bucktail would work, tight to the beach, but I'd go with a paddle tail.
All right, thanks, Midnight. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Southwest region. Captain Ron can only give it to us. Rocky Bay for redfish to Hickory Bay late in the afternoon on the high tide along the east wall using gold spoons, topwater plugs, pilchards, and cut bait. And then offshore, Permit. Fish most of the noted structure 8 to 20 miles out all throughout his region using live crabs for those permit.
Okay, guys, stay with us. When we return, we're going to hear from Captains Jim Ross and Pat Deneen. There's much more to come on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.